do a quick summary of this wonderful chapter, which is entitled Hiraṇyakaśipu Terrorizes the Universe. So in the last chapter, chapter number 3, the Hiraṇyakaśipu, the great demon, had plans to become immortal, and we studied and read how he performed tapasya for hundreds of celestial years, extraordinary tapasya which no one had ever performed. Imagine, his whole body was chewed up by the ants, Valmika. And then Lord Brahma comes and Hiraṇyakashipu would ask for various benedictions, and that I won't be killed in day, night, weapon, and this, and inside, outside. Hiraṇyakashipu received all those benedictions, and that's how this chapter starts. That Brahmaji gave all those benedictions, which were very, very difficult to attain, but still he got them. And then there's a nice verse, text number 2 of this chapter, explains that material benedictions often become curse, which we will see later. In this case also, we discuss the same thing in the Harshashoka story, Chitraketu Maharaj, how he was asking for a son. I want a son, that's the cause of my suffering. If I get a son, I'll be very happy. And then later the same son became a cause of distress, because the queens and the co-wives of Kritadyuti, how they poisoned. Bhasmasur, he asked for a material benediction. I want it, on whosoever head I put my hand upon, that person should be roasted to ashes. That same benediction became a curse for him. So one should not ask for material benedictions, especially from demigods. That's the lesson there. Finally, now Brahmaji leaves. Hiraṇyakashipu terrorizes the universe. He had attained extraordinary powers. He controlled practically everyone. The Gandharvas, the Siddhas, the Charanas, the Bhutas, the Pishachas, the Nagas. Everyone became a servant of Hiraṇyakashipu. He took the Indrasan, the throne of Indra. He took the jewels and the pearls, and his palace was bedecked, because it was Indra's palace, bedecked with corals and diamonds and pearls. Extraordinarily fame, name, beauty, power, strength, everything he had. And he started to use his power for wrong reasons. So that's a great lesson, that power means responsibility. Whether it is wealth power, knowledge power, or any kind of power, administrative power, or power means responsibility. We discussed the example of Yudhishthira Maharaj, how he used power in right purpose. We discussed Lord Ramachandra, the ideal king. But here we see Hiraṇyakashipu was using his power. The word comes that he was severely chastising the demigods for no reason. That's utter misuse of power. Severely chastising for no reason, that means misuse of power. He wanted to show, see, I'm powerful than you, I'm better than you. And to show that, I will chastise you. And you wouldn't be able to do anything because I'm better. Because I have more strength. I have special benedictions from Lord Brahma. So that's a great lesson, that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So one should be very, very careful. We all may have little power in our little ambits, but we should use it very, very wisely. Not only the demigods, he started exploiting Mother Earth also. All the 7 oceans, the 7 islands, Jambudweep, etc., the 7 oceans which are full with sugarcane juice and ghee, etc., he started extracting them. He started extracting the Mother Nature. He could get anything, even if it out of season. There was no clue of, no question of someone not providing him anything. It is said that the demigods would personally bring. He would ask, oh, I want a mango from Nasik. The demigods will bring in their own hand. Hiraṇyakashipu Maharaj, please take this, what you asked for. What to speak of the demigods, the Gandharvas, the Apsaras were dancing. Even Narad Muni, who is narrating all this, is saying, I also personally used to sing in his court. And his foreigners, Adagol Maharaj was explaining that they were singing Hiraṇyakashipu Maharaj ki jai. Stava, the word comes as stava. Stava means it's a form of a poem or a prayer. They were offering all glories to Hiraṇyakashipu. But a very, very important verse is text number 19. Imagine the opulence. We have briefly discussed that in the text number 5 onwards, text number 18. The opulence he had achieved. He had conquered everyone except Lord Brahma, Shiva and Lord Vishnu. All the demigods, Vayudev, Indradev, Suryadev, they were his servants. But still he was dissatisfied. Text number 19 explains that. He was dissatisfied because he was a servant of his own senses. The word used is Jitendriya. Ajitendriya, sorry. Ajitendriya means one who has not conquered one's mind and senses. He was a servant of his mind and senses, and that was the reason for his dissatisfaction. In spite of having all the diamonds and the rubies and the demigods serving and the apsaras singing and the dancing and Gandharvas, still dissatisfied. Still dissatisfied because of lack of control of mind and senses. And then the demigod situation is described. They were really disturbed because of all this, and they were really tormented. We discussed they were chastised for no reason. Their kingdoms were taken by Hiraṇyakaśipu, and due to all this, they finally understood that let's take shelter of Lord Vishnu. Because if to help us, only Krishna can help. Other demigods cannot help. And the example given is like holding a dog's tail to cross over the ocean. What hope one has? Practically, there is no hope. So we can cross over this ocean of material nescience and the Bhavasagar by holding the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Narottam Thakur explains in the Gauranga Karuna Karo Bhajan, Podichi Bhava Tufani Nahika Nistara. I am caught up in this violent hurricane of material world. Nahika Nistara, there is no exit. Shri Charana Tarani Dane Dase Koropara. But there is only one hope, one exit, Shri Charana, the lotus feet of Shri Radhika and Shri Madhava. When we hold the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and his wonderful incarnations, that is the only hope. So that's what demigods are showing. So they approach Lord Vishnu, but they could not see him. And the lesson there is that we cannot see Krishna by our material senses. But there was a transcendental sound which they could hear. So the sound of the holy name is a transcendental sound coming from the spiritual world. And text number 20 explains that it was very, very encouraging. It drove away all the fear. And what did the sound speak? That I will come very soon. But how soon? Krishna, we are really suffering. Please tell how soon. So the demigods then reply, the Lord, that sound spoke that when my devotee will be tormented, when Hiraṇyakaśipu will start, then I will appear very shortly. So I know all the situation. I know how Hiraṇyakaśipu is troubling all the planets. So please have faith. I will come soon. So the lesson over there is Krishna does not tolerate Vaishnava Aparad. Haristhane aparada harinamatar, tomasthane aparada na paibyar. That point is coming twice or thrice in this chapter actually. It will come later also. But in this chapter only that point of Vaishnava Aparad is so serious, is coming 3 times at least. Then the demigods show a very nice lesson in text number 29. They had complete confidence that practically Hiraṇyakaśipu is killed. That situation had not yet happened till the end of the chapter. The chapter ends that Hiraṇyakaśipu will start to torture. So Hiraṇyakaśipu is not yet killed. But having that firm faith in the words of the Supreme Lord, having that firm faith that the holy name will deliver, the Guru, Sadhu and Shastra will never go wrong. So that lesson we can derive from the demigods, that they had firm faith in the words of Krishna, in the holy name, in the transcendental sound, that will never go in vain. Finally, Narad Muni starts to glorify Prahlad Maharaj, the saintly son of Hiraṇyakaśipu. And that shows a great quality of Narad Muni, that only those who are non-envious can glorify others. And practically, Prahlad Maharaj was Narad Muni's junior, correct? He was his disciple. So to glorify someone who is on a lower level, only a saintly person like Narad Muni, who is nirmatsaranam. So that quality we see. And not only he just says he was a nice devotee. No. It is said that opportunity to glorify is rare, so one must use it whenever it comes. So he's speaking practically like 15 to 18 verses just to glorify the saintly character of Prahlad Maharaj, and such nice, amazing qualities he's sharing. That how he was Jitendriya. The word used in text 19 for Hiraṇyakaśipu was Ajitendriya, and that was the cause of his dissatisfaction. But Prahlad Maharaj was not like his father. Although he was born in a demoniac family, but he had all the Brahmanical qualities. Why? Because he was an unalloyed devotee of Lord. And one who is unalloyed devotee of Lord, yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana, one who is rendering sincere bhakti, sarve gunai tatra samasate sura. All the divine qualities will manifest in that person who is rendering akinchana bhakti, sincere unalloyed bhakti to the Lord, to Lord Krishna, the master of all, the servant of, the shelter of all. He was the best friend of everyone. He did not harbor any enmity against anyone like his father, was always envious. And then text number 31, 32 are the memory verses. 32 explains that how he was dealing with three kinds of people. One who were senior, he was dealing with lot of respect, learning from them, being tadvidi pranipatina pariprashna sevya. We should subordinate ourselves. You should feel humble and in a humble state approach our seniors. With the equal, he was like a loving brother, being very empathetic, being on the equals, not trying to show I am better. The most difficult part in Vaishnava relationship is to deal with equals. With seniors, we naturally take a lower position. That's very natural. With lowers, we may, try to give them, and that's what the Prahlad Maharaj was doing, who was trying to help them. And that's, Vaishnava is very compassionate. So trying to help in whatever way, by helping in inspiring in Krishna consciousness. But the difficult part is dealing with equals, because the conditioned mind wants to say, oh, I'm better than you, and then the other person, oh, I want to be better than you. But the point there is not to prove I'm better, you are better. The point is to help each other, to inspire. I need you, you need me, we both need each other. We are God brothers, God sisters. The spiritual master will be pleased when we together in non-envious environment, in a healthy, cooperative, congenial relationship, make spiritual progress. As we read in the story of Prachetas, that Lord Vishnu was very, very pleased. Why? Because they together render bhakti. That is difficult in this day and age, but that's the lesson. That's what Bhagavatam is teaching us. So the qualities continue. He was free from pride. Imagine, his father was like billion times more powerful, more stronger, more richer, more beautiful than anyone in this world. Imagine how that son, imagine if our father, well, our real father is Krishna, who is the father, but if our father, from who's our like blood father, if has that position, how much pride may come, which is pretty natural. Everyone, demigods are serving in their home. They're bringing all kinds of preparation. But Prahlad Maharaj had no pride because of his birth, or his learning, or his devotion. He was very, very humble. He was not agitated when he was put in danger. Very, very amazing quality. And everything material he considered useless. He was not absorbed in childish things, krida. Small boys, girls, boys want to play with cars, girls want to play with dolls. Very simple. And the same thing grows in adults also. Adults play with bigger cars, young boys play with smaller cars. The concept is pretty same. Both are material. So, but Prahlad Maharaj was not interested in all that. He didn't want to waste his precious life in materialistic things. And he was steady in his mind and his determination, not agitated, unflinching faith in Krishna, remained silent in childish playing things. He was completely, people say, oh, Shani Graha has conquered me, oh, Rahu Graha has conquered me. So Prahlad Maharaj was conquered by Krishna Graha. One who has conquered or overpowered by Krishna Graha is totally in love with Krishna, is in madness with Krishna. The other Shani, Rahu, they were serving Hiraṇyakaśipu actually. And Hiraṇyakaśipu could not do anything, what to speak of other Griha. So their servant of Hiraṇyakaśipu couldn't do anything. Well, Hiraṇyakaśipu couldn't do anything. So the Shani, Rahu, all those Griha were basically serving Hiraṇyakaśipu. So how could a pure devotee be overpowered by any such planetary disturbances or Griha? He was fully absorbed, and then ecstatic symptoms come. He was crying for Krishna, he was dancing, he was laughing in complete absorption, sometimes in separation, sometimes in union, and completely ecstatic symptoms were erupting from his body in a pure, unalloyed love for Krishna. And then the text number 42 explains the power of association. He would share, he would try to inspire others also by his saintly association. He would not take others' material association, although he was practically in the demoniac family, but he was still a devotee. Same as Vibhishana, he was in a demoniac family but didn't take their demoniac association. But he was giving association, and he was always surrounded by devotees. And then finally, the last, this chapter comes to an end, and then Hiraṇyakaśipu would torment his father, his son Prahlad, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking this question to his teacher, which is a great lesson there, that we must approach bona fide teachers to ask our spiritual questions in a very humble state, which Yudhishthira Maharaj is showing. His question is, we just read that today, that how could a father torture the son? No father tortures their son, no parent tortures their child, but how could Hiraṇyakaśipu do, and why and how? So this chapter ends on this note, and we will see later all those things. So, but Prahlad Maharaj didn't show tit for tat mentality, was obedient, was respectful. So he wanted the greatest benefit even of his worst enemy, like Hiraṇyakaśipu. So thank you. This is a quick summary of this chapter.